In the glittering expanse of the Andromedan spire, where stars were harvested for energy and planets orbited in reverence, the Queen of Galaxies sat upon her throne of silence. For 1,000 years no voice had dared address her directly. She was said to hear thoughts before they were spoken and to erase those she found unworthy. Even the greatest rulers of the cosmos spoke only through envoys. And yet, in that chamber of cosmic light, among shimmering banners of nebulae and beings of 1,000 worlds, a human janitor mopped the floor. Earth's inclusion in the galactic concord was recent, and humans were still seen as primitive, curious creatures, useful for menial labor, but far from the heights of galactic nobility. The janitor, Eli Rivers, never minded. The pay was good, the stars were beautiful, and his little girl loved the stories he brought home. But today, the stars brought her to him. "Papa, look! It's so shiny!" The voice echoed in the empty corridor as his daughter, Lena, slipped in through the maintenance gate, chasing a floating light drone. Barely 7 years old, barefoot, hair tangled from sleep, Lena froze as she entered the Queen's hall. Every being in attendance turned. Some gasped, others fell to their knees. The Queen herself, tall as starlight, her form shifting between matter and energy, turned her gaze upon the child. The temperature in the hall dropped, light dimmed. A pulse of silence spread outward like a shock wave. No one breathed. Not even the stars dared flicker. "Who enters unbidden?" The Queen's voice was like a chorus sung across light years. Eli dropped his mop, heart hammering. I'm sorry, Your Radiance. She's just a child. She meant no—" But before he could finish, Lena had already stepped forward. Her small hand reached out toward the towering cosmic monarch. "Hi, you look sad. Do you want a hug?" Every creature in the chamber recoiled as if she'd hurled a weapon. Some screamed in disbelief. The Queen of Galaxies, touched by a human child? Unthinkable, unforgivable. And yet, the Queen didn't move. Her many-layered eyes, stars within stars, widened. A sound like wind passing through eternity escaped her. For the first time in millennia, the Queen hesitated. Lena took another step closer, undeterred by the cosmic pressure that would crush a lesser being. "Papa says hugs help when people are lonely." The Queen looked down at the small creature before her, this fragile, warm life from a forgotten blue planet. And for the first time, the galaxies themselves seemed to hold their breath. Then the Queen spoke, softly. "What is a hug?" And the universe shifted. The chamber was frozen in disbelief. No one had ever heard the Queen of Galaxies ask a question. Her knowledge spanned eons. She had conversed with dying stars and watched civilizations rise and burn to dust. But now, her voice trembled with genuine curiosity. Eli's heart pounded as every alien delegate stared, waiting for lightning or vaporization. He tried to speak, but words failed him. The Queen's focus wasn't on him anyway. Her gaze was locked on the tiny human girl standing inches from her throne. Lena tilted her head, her curls glowing in the light of 1,000 suns reflected off the Queen's crown. "A hug is when someone's heart feels heavy, so another person helps carry it." The Queen blinked, and galaxies shifted in her eyes. "Hearts do not carry weight." She giggled. "They do. You just can't see it." She stepped closer again, ignoring the gasps that rippled through the hall. "May I show you?" A murmur of terror filled the air. A Zenari general dropped his ceremonial staff. "Child, no," he hissed. "To touch her radiance is—" But the Queen raised a hand, silencing them all. "Let her." The words rolled across the hall like thunder, shaking the silver banners above. Lena stretched out her small arms, and for a heartbeat, the entire galaxy held still. Then she wrapped them, gently, around the Queen's luminous form. Light flared. For the first time in recorded history, the Queen of Galaxies felt warmth. Not the sterile energy of a supernova, or the raging fires of creation, but something alive, something soft, fragile, and kind. The human child's heartbeat echoed through her like a forgotten melody. She saw flashes, not visions, but memories not her own. A child laughing under a rainstorm, a mother's hand wiping away tears, a planet full of fragile beings who fought not for dominion, but for each other. And under it all, loneliness. Hers, endless and unacknowledged. A sound escaped the queen, strange, unfamiliar. It took the gathered beings a moment to recognize it. She was crying. Tears of starlight fell, shattering into nebula dust that floated through the chamber. Her massive crown dimmed, its radiance softening to the gentle light of dawn. Lena smiled up at her. "See? Better now." The queen knelt, an act that sent shockwaves through the psychic fabric of the Concord. "You have touched eternity, and you call it better?" Lena nodded. "That's what hugs do." Around them, alien envoys trembled, not in fear, but in awe. The queen who had once spoken to dying gods now knelt before a human child. Eli finally found his voice, whispering through tears, "Your Majesty, please forgive her. She didn't mean any disrespect." The queen turned her gaze toward him. "Disrespect? Human, your child has done what no empire or deity could. She reminded me that I am still alive." And somewhere deep in the cosmos, the stars began to hum. The next day, every network across the galactic Concord burned with a single image, the Queen of Galaxies kneeling before a human child. Whole empires paused their wars to verify the footage. Some called it a divine omen. Others called it treason against the cosmic order. But far from the chaos, inside the Queen's own palace, silence reigned. Eli stood beside his daughter, trembling as they followed two radiant attendants down a bridge of light. At its end waited an enormous gate, woven from living constellations. The doors parted without a sound. Beyond lay the celestial garden. It was no ordinary place. This was where stars were born. Rivers of cosmic dust flowed like liquid gold, and planets in making drifted lazily in a cradle of gravity and song. The queen walked among them like a living constellation herself, her once imposing aura softened, flickering gently like candlelight. She turned to Lena, her voice a melodious whisper. "This is the cradle of all life I have shaped. I bring order here, but I have never felt the lives themselves." Lena's eyes sparkled. "It's beautiful, but it feels lonely." The queen tilted her head. "Lonely?" Lena nodded, stepping closer to a floating orb, a newborn sun pulsing with warmth. She placed her small hand on it, and the light responded, brightening. "When Papa works late, I feel lonely too, but then he tells me stories, and it feels like someone turned the lights back on." The queen stared at her. You compare me to your father?" "Yeah," Lena grinned. "He fixes messes. You fix the universe. Same thing, right?" Eli nearly fainted. "Lena," he hissed, "you can't—" But the queen raised a hand to stop him. Her lips curved in something no one had seen in millennia, a smile. "Perhaps you are not wrong." They walked together through the garden, and as they did, the queen began to feel the worlds around her, not as cosmic calculations or energy signatures, but as children, each one calling softly, yearning to be seen. Her radiant steps left trails of starlight that shimmered like petals. "Why did you stop talking to people?" Lena asked innocently. The queen's expression darkened, galaxies dimming in her eyes, because their voices grew false. Every being wanted something: power, immortality, favor. None spoke with truth, so I silenced them all. Lena's small fingers slipped into the queen's luminous hand. "Then you should talk to people who don't want anything, like Papa or me." The queen looked down at her, at that fearless face, and something ancient within her stirred.
For the first time in 10,000 years, she laughed. It was soft, but it rolled through the garden like a gentle supernova, making every star bloom brighter. In that moment, the queen decided something that would shake the cosmos. "Very well," she said. "If humanity breeds such hearts, then the galaxy must meet them." And as she spoke, millions of light years away, every star-bearing world suddenly turned its gaze towards Earth. The world was not ready. When the Queen of Galaxies appeared above Earth, the night sky itself rippled. Her presence filled every telescope, every sensor, every news feed. Governments panicked, fleets scrambled. But she did not come with armies or demands. She came alone, radiant and silent, her vast form hovering like a second moon. And in her